Hello and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Tuesday, February 22nd edition of our video devotionals. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we call this Thankful Tuesday. And one unique thing about today is it's 22222. That doesn't often happen, does it? So that's kind of unique, 22222. So if you like twos, today is your day. So we appreciate you joining us. And here locally, we've got overcast skies, pretty damp. It's not cold, though. That's the good thing. I think we've got off and on rain for the next maybe 2-3 days, and so we'll take it. But otherwise, you look outside, sometimes that determines people's demeanor. So hopefully we kind of raise your spirits if you feel a little bit gloomy, but it may be just bright sunshine where you're at. But either way, it's a great day, and we do have a lot to be thankful for. So we're going to be in Deuteronomy Chapter 4 today, read a few verses. Several months ago, less than a year, but several months ago, a friend of mine that I grew up with at church in Archdale, he invited me to come, and if I wanted to have a time of breakfast and prayer with just a few of his men, sometimes it's two other preachers, and I said sure. And so sometimes we're asked to give a devotion. Today was my day to give it, and so I'm going to give the devotion that I gave them today, probably a little bit more abbreviated form here, but my good friend Randy Beck, if you're listening to this today, then this is kind of ditto for you. But otherwise, had a good time with him, and it's good to get up and start your day with prayer and breakfast, and that's not bad, right? So we're going to be in Deuteronomy 4. Unique thing about Deuteronomy is the very first chapter tells us kind of the timetable there. God told the children of Israel because of the men who said, we can't go into this promised land, it's too dangerous, and basically turned the hearts of the people against God and what he wanted. He said, well, there's going to be this 40-day wilderness wandering period. And this, according to Deuteronomy, that's about to end from the writing. And it's interesting how it gives the timetable. It says in the 40th year, in the 11th month, and the first day of the month. So we know that's pretty much getting all of 40 years, that's for sure. And of course, we know that Moses is going to pass, and the reins will be handed over to Joshua. But right before that happens, Moses is given some things. Oftentimes, it's just kind of going back to the things that were said and all of that. So notice what it says here in verse number 5, and we'll read down, I think, to about verse number 9. Here's what it says. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Now notice this next verse here. It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? And here's our last verse. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. Now I'm going to go back to verse number 6, and it says, concerning the commandments and the statutes and everything that was given, it says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. And even the nations themselves will say, wow, what a nation that has God so nigh them. And here's what I was thinking. When you think about Israel, of course, and the presence of God in their life and all of that, it was a wonderful thing. And then to think about the things that they accomplished and God allowed them to accomplish in the sense of the gaining of riches, in the sense of course, the land itself they received, the conquering of the nations there that God said you're going to conquer and take the land. And in so many things, of course, the spiritual things, the building of things, and the building of an empire. So I say that because, that was Israel. We have its history, and we know that's because of God's presence, his involvement, and whenever they decided to serve the Lord and follow him and listen to what he said, then God said, this is your wisdom and it's your understanding. And think about like in I guess we call it kind of the epitome of the kingdom in Solomon's day, when the Queen of Sheba came and said she looked at everything, was so amazed. She even said, what I was told, the half was not even told me of all the things that I've seen and all the greatness here. And I'm saying that because that's because of the presence of God and the blessings of God and all of that. And it was not just in what they saw, but it was also in the mindset and the thinking. I think the education of the day and what was taught, the things that were done, the things like the mechanical things even. So I'm saying that because now look at America. Think about the advancements of a country called the United States of America, a country that's known as a Christian nation, a nation in which people, it was built on that philosophy and those principles and practices. You understand that. Was there 100%? No, neither was there 100% in the land of Israel, but enough for God to say, you're a blessed country. We believe God established the country. Yes, we've had our wrongs. There's no doubt about that. But when you look at the things that America has done for itself and for the world and all of that, you must see the fact that God, I believe, gave that blessing and gave the mindsets to do the certain things. The advancements in science, the building of our cities, the buildings of the highways, all the things that were done. You think about the cars and the airplanes and all the things that was done in this country, and really in a short amount of time when you think about it. So I can't help but think, when I look at this and people said, what, if we put God first, if we acknowledge God, then just like it says here, this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. And no wonder we were kind of elevated that way. And I believe God elevated us as that way. And of course, the other people would say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So, if that's the case, then we also know what can happen when there's this pushback against God, and we start to see the decline in the following of the words of God. And I think we've seen some of that. And so I could say a lot about that, but let me just say this. Let's thank God that God does that not only for the nations, He does it for churches who will put Him first. There's religion, and then there's churches where Christ is preeminent, and there's a big difference. And then you think about, an individual, a family even, a couple, a marriage, and how blessed, and then the things that God can allow your mind to think, and the creativeness and all of that, and then to put certain things into practice. And, God is certainly the one who allows and has helped people accomplish these things. And without acknowledging God, then God can show you exactly what we could be as an individual or as a church or as a nation when God's not at the forefront. So I hope we can appreciate what God's done. Let's just go ahead and, regardless of what a nation does or others around us, let's go ahead and say, that I want God to bless me, and I want God to be my wisdom and my understanding, so that when I look at things, I can determine things, and if need be, even create things, and to be a blessing, be a help, and all of that. So I think you understand that. So I hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on Winning Wednesday, and you have a great day and be safe, and hopefully you can be blessed, and that's what we all want, right? All right, have a great day.